Hey everyone, it's Tracy Martirana here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. What I'm going to show you today is an easy way to increase the amount of veggies that you're getting in your diet and an easy way to meal plan for the week. I'm going to grill up some veggies. I have zucchini, eggplant, a red bell pepper, an onion, and some mushrooms. I'm going to marinate them, grill them, and then turn them into a few different meals for the week. Meal number one is going to be a veggie lasagna. Now, this isn't like an average lasagna that just has lots of veggies. It is essentially vegetables with cheese and maybe a little bit of sauce. I make my veggies, I make them into steaks, so I cut them lengthwise. So then I use those grilled veggies instead of noodles and just make a couple layers, add a little ricotta, some sauce, some cheese, throw it in the oven. And I'm just going to do a small 8x8 pan for the two of us, me and my husband, but that will be enough for 2 meals this week. Then I'm also going to make sandwiches. Grilled vegetable sandwiches are delicious. I make them on my homemade bread. All I do is toast the bread, add a little mustard, a little lettuce, a few pieces of the grilled veggies, and you have a delicious sandwich. And then lastly, whatever's left over, I'm just going to use as a side dish one night. I'll cook up some fish, maybe some rice, and then have grilled veggies on the side. So it couldn't be easier. If I tally that up, it's lasagna 2 times, sandwiches, which are delicious and filling and healthy, and a side dish to some other meal. So that's 4 meals that I'm going to use these veggies for. Let's start by making the marinade. I'm just adding some balsamic vinegar straight into this big container. I like to mix the marinade right into the dish that I'm going to sort of drudge the vegetables in rather than dirtying multiple containers. I'm using a nice balsamic vinegar, but really you can use any type of vinegar you want. And to that, I'm adding about a teaspoon and a half of garlic powder. I'm also going to add some rosemary, some dried basil, and then a little bit of red pepper flakes just to add a little bit of zip. I'm not adding a lot, so I don't want it to be too zippy. And then once I get the herbs in, I'm going to add olive oil. Now, I change up this marinade all the time. Sometimes it is mostly vinegar with just a little bit of olive oil. Sometimes it's mostly oil with just a little bit of vinegar. Sometimes it's just oil and spices and no vinegar. You can really make it whatever you want. You can add whatever spices you want. Make it your own. Really, the only thing you really need is a little bit of oil and maybe some salt and pepper. But really, you can probably get away with just the oil. And now that everything's together, I'm just going to whisk it and then set it aside while I prep veggies. I have a couple eggplant, zucchini, red bell pepper, mushrooms, onion. I'm just peeling everything as much as I need to peel it and then slicing everything lengthwise to make sort of big vegetable steaks. You can see here, I slice off that bottom part of the eggplant to allow it to sit a little more stable while I'm slicing it. Just be careful. Slicing lengthwise does get a little wonky sometimes. And then next I'm doing my veggies, squash, my zucchini. I have the summer squash. Get those cut up. just work through all the veggies, getting them cut up big enough so that they'll stay on the grill without falling through the crevices, but small enough that you can get some nice grill marks on them, get them cooked through. And then I'm just cleaning off these mushrooms. I washed them well because they were really dirty, and I'm just cutting off sort of the dried ends of the stems, and I will grill them whole. And then I'm heading out to my preheated grill. I have my grill on about medium heat. You don't want it to, char them before they can cook all the way through, but yet, you don't also want it to take an hour either. So I have the heat up enough that it will give me good char marks, but still leave a little bit of texture to the veggies. I don't want them mush. Cook them how you like them. And then I just rotate them through. I have so much that not everything will fit on the grill at once, so I'm just going to work through putting stuff on, taking stuff off as it gets done. And there you go. They're all nice and prepped. Here they are, looking delicious. Now to make the veggie lasagna, I'm making just an 8x8 pan. I'm going to start by greasing it with a little bit of oil just so that everything doesn't end up sticking as it bakes. It makes cleanup of the pan much easier. And then I just start layering like you would any normal lasagna. I put a little sauce in the bottom of the pan, and then I'll start stacking in some veggies. Now, because like a big steak of eggplant is kind of hard to cut through, so I cut it into smaller pieces and then layer it into the pan just to make serving it and eating it a little bit easier. And you can feel really good about having a nice piece of crusty bread with this lasagna, knowing that it's not just carbs upon carbs. This is a lasagna made up of almost all vegetables and just a little bit of cheese, so it's good for you. No guilt lasagna. And I don't use a lot of ricotta cheese. When I'm making a big lasagna, oftentimes, I should say as well, I will take ricotta and add an egg to it and salt and pepper and some Parmesan cheese right into it. Here I'm keeping it simple and I'm just scooping a little bit of ricotta into one layer here. If you really like ricotta, you could do more layers of it. You could add a thicker layer. I mean, I really probably used only maybe a quarter of a cup to a half a cup of lasagna or of ricotta in this whole lasagna, so it's not a lot. And then I had some fresh basil, so I'm just going to chop that up and sprinkle that in because who doesn't love some fresh basil? It adds such wonderful flavor. And you could leave it at just the zucchini and the eggplant, but I decided I have these beautiful roasted red peppers. They add a wonderful flavor. I have onion, I have mushrooms, so I'm adding it all into this lasagna. I think the more you add, the better it tastes. And then we just start layering in some cheese and some sauce. So put some cheese, some sauce, add more veggies, repeat it as many times as you want to make as big of a lasagna as you want. And I always do a final layer of sauce and cheese just so that top looks all nice and pretty. And then I'm going to cover it with some aluminum foil. And when it's dinner time, I will just pop this into the oven. Probably about half an hour covered and then 10 or 15 minutes uncovered just to allow it to heat through. And a sandwich, I can't tell you how delicious a sandwich is made with these grilled veggies. I use my homemade bread, I toasted it up, I add a little cheese right at the end of the toasting, add some good mustard, and then however many veggies you want to pop on here. I did just a single layer of zucchini with some onion and then a little bit of red bell pepper, and then I had some leaf lettuce and some sorrel from out in my garden. I added that. And voila, a delicious, super yummy and hearty sandwich. Thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I also hope that I've inspired you to grab a bunch of veggies, head out to your grill, cook up a bunch of them, and use them all week long to have delicious, healthy meals right at your fingertips. Again, my name is Tracy Martirana, and I'm here to use my knowledge of nutrition, herbs, Ayurveda, yoga, and meditation to bring you information and inspiration to help you live a healthy, happy, and balanced life. Have a great day.